What's up guys, David here and welcome to the Fit Pro Daily. This week is all about leads and sales, and we started off yesterday with Gary Mendoza coming on to give us an idea into how behaviour change can be used to utilise to generate leads and to make sales. Today though, I want to give you an insight into 5 things that I really need you to consider when it comes to actually making the sale and generating those leads. But before I do dive into today's episode, if you haven't already subscribed, press pause, press subscribe, and then let's dive in. Okay, let's dive in. So last week when we were talking about systems and automations, we covered something called explanation and confirmation. Now this is key when it comes to chasing leads and making sales, because when you're talking to your prospects, when you're talking in the consultation, you need to be clear, you need to be concise, you need to explain everything that's happening and confirm what is happening too, whether that be the price, whether what they're getting as the service, whether it's booking them in for the consultation. Everything needs to be explained clearly and telling them what's going to happen next with confirmations of everything. So you book somebody in for a consultation, you send them a confirmation email, confirmation text, explain what's going to happen. Somebody's coming in and you're explaining the program to them. Do you have some sort of offer menu or a piece of paper that explains what the program is and confirmation of the price? The more you can explain and confirm everything with them as clear as possible, the easier it is to be able to sell to these prospects coming into your fitness business. Okay, let's look at number 2. Now you've explained and confirmed everything with them, whether it's booking them in for the consultation, whether it's you doing that sales consultation. The next thing we need to do is let them talk. Now it is possible to over talk and talk yourself out of making that sale. We've probably all done it before, especially when we've got a little bit nervous, we've talked a little too much and the sale has gone. And this happens in any part of life, whether you're dating, whether you're going to purchase something, whether you're trying to sell something, whether you feel uncomfortable in a situation, you just talk too much and it all gets a bit much. So when it comes to booking people in for consultations or actual doing sales consultations, we need to ask questions and then we need to let them talk. Now, if you listen to what Gary was talking about yesterday in the guest interview, he explains it in a much more depth, but asking the right questions and then letting them talk, letting them sell themselves into the program is the easiest way to sell. So tip number 2, let them talk. Okay, let's look at number 3. So the third thing we need to be ready for them to ask you questions. Now you're going to get people coming in with all kinds of different questions, but we need to be confident and we need to have a clear, again, explanation to the question that they're asking. So this comes down to really understanding and knowing your product, plus knowing the target audience that you want to work with. If you're unsure, that's why when we let them talk, we take a lot of notes, we write all of this down, so when it comes to us having to answer their questions, we can relay back some of the stuff that they said, so it confirms to them that what you're offering is right for them. So be clear, listen to what they're saying from step number 2, write it all down and understand your program, your service, what it is you're delivering, so when they ask you questions, you know all the answers. Okay, let's dive into tip number 4. Tip number 4 is all about upsells, downsells, cross-sells, and referrals. There's going to be times where you're doing these consultations where you're thinking, you know what, this person might be interested or might be better suited to our higher end program, which would be an upsell. This person's really struggling to see the benefits of their program, or they're querying the price. Maybe I should start them on a downsell program. There could be even a cross-sell. They've come in for initial program. Let's say you do different types of program. You've got a 6-week CrossFit and you've got a 6-week weight loss. And they initially came in for the 6-week CrossFit. As you're talking to them, they think they might be better on the 6-week weight loss program. So you've got a cross-sell. Plus, when they've signed up, you might explain to them that, you know what, you get better results when you bring people you know in. If you bring a friend in, I'll knock off 20% when you join on our monthly program or something. So you've got referrals there. So tip number 4, try and see what ways you can upsell, downsell if you need to, cross-sell if you need to, and ask for referrals in additional ways to make more money, get a client to sign up, or bring new prospects in. Okay, let's dive into the 5th and final one, and we've mentioned this a few times on these shows, that taking payment should be as easy as possible, especially when they're a new client. So a new client could be umming and ahhing, trying to decide if this is the right option for them. You've sold it well enough, they're excited to get started, but in the back of their mind they're still thinking, I'm still not so sure. If your payment setup is too difficult, too complicated, not super straightforward, then you might lose them at this last final stage, and that is the worst thing that you can do. Yes, when they move on to a monthly membership, when you secure them on some sort of 12-month contract moving forwards, you want to set them up on your preferred payment setup. But when a new client is coming in initially and they're still a little bit unsure, still not confident they've made the right decision, they've got doubts in the back of their mind, maybe they're going to be wondering what their partners or family are going to say about making this decision, we want to make that initial payment as simple as possible. So for us at DK9 Fitness, they pay cash, they can pay on card, which is Stripe, they can pay on PayPal, they can literally pay whatever way they want. This secures the initial payment, because the initial payment is just going back into that lead gen pot so we can keep bringing in new clients. Then once you've completed the initial 6 weeks and they move on to monthly, we then put them on Stripe, so we're in total control. It's easy for us to take the payment every single month, and there's no worrying about chasing payments or asking them to re-sign up and send the cash over or whatever it is they need to do. So initially, make the payment option as easy as possible to get them over that line, and then once you've crossed the line and you've becoming a full-time member or monthly member, then sign them up to your preferred payment option. So those are the 5 tips I would give you right now when it comes to chasing leads, making sales, and a few other bits in between. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode, and if you want to go back and check out yesterday's episode where Gary was talking about all things behavior change when it comes to chasing leads and making sales, then definitely go back and check that out. I'm going to leave it there for today. I'd love you to subscribe. Just press pause and then press subscribe, and I'll speak to you all tomorrow. Cheers.